Hey guys, it's Nita, or the Gifted One. Excuse me for my voice. And I'm doing a reaction to the Batman v Superman trailer. The one thing I have to say is, okay, they're kind of selling me on Ben Affleck as Batman. Um, I was really adverse to the idea of Ben Affleck as Batman. I just couldn't see it. I was like, him? But after seeing Gone Girl, Ben Affleck has done films like, or should I say, he's directed films where, they're exceptional. Of course, Gone Baby Gone, Argo, The Town. And to me, his acting in his films where he's actually directed have been damn good. It's other films that he does where he's being directed by someone. I don't know where to go with it. Like Pearl Harbor, Payback, and despite how everybody feels, I actually liked him as Daredevil. So fuck you. You know, Daredevil, I didn't hate it as much. I hated the villains in Daredevil more. Then I hated like Ben Affleck as Daredevil or Jennifer Gardner as Elektra. But in this trailer, I have to say, props, Mr. Affleck, props. But I actually started becoming more okay with the idea of Ben Affleck as Batman, Bruce Wayne / Batman, shall we say, when I saw him in Gone Girl and I saw the dramatic turn that he did there. I mean, I was pissed off that he wasn't at least nominated for an Oscar because I really felt that his performance was really Oscar worthy, but you know how the Oscars be. So there's a lot going on in this trailer, a shitload. And I'm starting to wonder if Zack Snyder is taking a page out of the Injustice Gods Among Us storyline in the sense of making Superman turn bad or evil, or in the sense of a megalomaniac where he starts believing, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a god, he has super, powers. He's not a human. He's an alien. That shit really starts getting to his head, and he starts seeing humans more as a burden than usually things that you're responsible for, at times they can feel burdensome. Maybe Superman views humans more as his children in the sense of he should be able to not only protect them and to, nurture them in a sense, but also that he has the right to punish them if necessary. In the sense of maybe instead of being like Jesus, where Jesus, sacrificed himself for our sins, he's being more of God, where he's like, oh, okay, you want to keep sinning and you want to keep doing this bullshit? Sodom and Gomorrah. Maybe Superman's gone a little bit more from Jesus and started hitting more along God's trail. Because let's be honest, Superman, I mean, if you think about the Nietzsche's Superman, it's a whole concept of being a god and things of that nature. So that's not really like, it's not like I'm pulling if I make that estimation. But anyway, so there's a lot of shots in this trailer where Henry Cavill is is sort of put in the context of being a god. There's one beautiful shot, in my opinion, where he's hovering over this one person, and of course, the sun behind him is emitting so much blinding light that you can't really make out his face. You can only make out his red and blue suit, his beautiful physical, his beautiful body, and the fact that he's hovering over this person, and this person is actually reaching up to him.
The world has been so caught up with what he can do,
Which I found interesting in the sense of like, kind of like how people view God, in the sense of he's there for you, but you can't touch him, you can't necessarily see him, you can't speak to him. I'm sure from that high up of a distance, you may be talking to Superman hovering over you and you hope that he hears you, but you don't know. But I thought that was a really nice shot. And then I also like the idea that Superman is close enough to humanity, but he's sort of far away from them at the same time, because he is, at the end of the day, he's an alien. And then there's another shot where, and people have been like tearing this shot a whole new asshole, but there's a shot where Superman has obviously entered this room, and there are these soldiers there that have Superman like badges on their arms, and they're kneeling to him.
Maybe he's just a guy.
The funny thing about that shot is that Superman doesn't look happy about the fact that he's kneeling to him. He's not like, yes. You know, he doesn't look like Queen Elizabeth II or the first, where it's like, you know, they're used to people kneeling to them. So it comes to a point where they're like, yeah. He actually looks like he wants to say, get up off your damn knees, please. I didn't ask for this, you know? And if you really think about it, Superman didn't ask to be considered a god by humanity. You know, he just wanted to help people. That's just his thing. Firefighters. And, you know, when people go up to him, you're a star or whatever, it's like, well, people who genuinely want to help people don't necessarily need any publicity or any slap on the back. But the whole point is that's not the reason why they do what they do. They do what they do because they genuinely want to help one another. So I found that interesting. And then I've been watching some other trailer reactions, and I did peep the fact that the hats that the soldiers are wearing do look like, you know, those kind of bowler hats, or which are more like 20s, 30s-esque, which kind of, you know, brings you down to like Nazi sort of, you know, time period. So it kind of makes you wonder, you know, why, you know, I mean, if you think about it, the whole concept of the Superman comes from Nietzsche, whose concept was used by the Nazis in the 20s and 30s. So it kind of makes sense. Maybe they're like a cult who has sort of Nazi beliefs, and they use Superman. His name is Superman. And they're like, haha, we're going to use you as it. And maybe he's coming there and he's like, look, I don't believe in considering one group of people better than the other. I don't consider myself better than any of you. Why the hell are you doing this to me? Then there's another shot where Henry Cavill as Superman is around this group of people, and they Hispanic.
We're talking about.
And I've heard some people say he's in Mexico in that shot, and I've heard some people say he's in Brazil. And I do know that in Mexico they do have a day where they celebrate the dead. And they wear like skull masks. They have a celebration and whatnot. So I don't know too well about that day, but I do know at least that much of it. If that's the case, then, you know, what is it that they're all looking at Superman like, oh, just in awe of him, you know, and he's sort of looking around kind of like, you know, Henry Cavill in this entire trailer has never looked more uncomfortable than anything I've seen him in. His Superman throughout this entire trailer just literally looks like he wants to tell people to chill the hell out and stop putting him on this pedestal that he never asked to be on. Now, let's get to the voices. Now, I peeped two voices that no one else seemed to have peeped. Well, other people finally got it, but I peeped Holly Hunter, because I know Holly Hunter's voice. And I peeped, of course, Jesse Eisenberg. We'll get to him. And I also peeped Jeremy Irons. So when I went on the Internet Movie Database, I saw that Jeremy Irons is playing Alfred. Yes! Holly Hunter is credited as playing a U.S. Senator. Okay? And we all know what Jesse Eisenberg is. That's another person that I really have not been sold on. When I heard he was cast as Lex Luthor, I was like, why? Ben Affleck, I was just more of, I don't see it. I don't see it is different from why. Because I don't see it means that you have to convince me more. You know, it's the same thing of like how people were getting on the casting choice of Heath Ledger as the Joker. Because a lot of people associated Heath Ledger with, you know, as a heartthrob because of 10 Things I Hate About You and A Knight's Tale. But if you looked at some of his other films like The Patriot for once, he had depth to him. You know, he had potential to grow. Jesse Eisenberg.
Do you know the comedian Carrot Top?
Yes, horrible.
Well, you were like the Carrot Top of interviewers.
Yeah. Ooh.
Played the same character his entire fucking career. But the point I'm trying to make is that he is like Michael Cera to me.
Calls me an asshole, I get a note in my trailer saying you're not down to earth enough. And it's been going on for a long time, and it's not one person, it's everyone.
Just gotta come down. We have a lot to do.
I'm not gonna come, okay? Behavioral issues are the least of my fucking problems.
I'm like, if you cast Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, to me, you're translating that you could have also cast Michael Cera as Lex Luthor. And I'm like, what? Don't get me wrong, like, Lex Luthor, of course, possesses no physical threat to Superman, at least without a suit of some kind. But that's the whole point. He's supposed to be either a scientific genius, like a mad scientist, or he's supposed to be a shrewd, frugal, and ruthless businessman. And I don't see Jesse Eisenberg as either one. He just always plays to me, and even in his interviews, he just comes off to me like a cocky little shit. I never saw Lex Luthor as a cocky little shit. Lex Luthor's never been my favorite anyway. I'm more of a doomsday kind of girl. I like villains that can beat the shit out of Superman because he's Superman, you know? I don't like villains that beat the shit out of Batman because at the end of the day, Batman's a human. So the idea of someone just beating his ass, it just seems like something that could happen any other day. But can you imagine actually having the ability to beat a god's ass? The lines I heard in the trailer still have not won me over with Jesse Eisenberg. I still just heard him as a little shit. They're gonna have to work more on that. I did like the fact that I didn't see Wonder Woman in this and I didn't see Aquaman because in my opinion I feel like the focus right now should be them showcasing Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne and Batman.
Fever, the rage, the feeling of powerlessness that turns good men cruel.
I feel like people still need convincing with him. Then when they finally show Bruce Wayne, and don't get me wrong, Affleck has all the angst in the world when he's just staring at his bat suit. I mean, he really looks like he's saying to himself, am I really going to do this shit again? Like, he's really contemplating if he should put on the suit. And if you think about it in the context of what he's probably going to put on the suit for, which is to go battle it out with Superman or to go try to apprehend Superman, it makes sense. This is a man who is faster than a speeding bullet, who can fly, who's strong as shit, but someone who possesses all that strength. Would you really want to be the person who goes and tries to arrest them? For example, and this is another thing that I feel like people are sort of forgetting about, is that this is a sequel to Man of Steel. Not a movie that stands on its own. It's an actual sequel. So, I don't know why I lisp right there. Sequel. But so if you think back to Man of Steel, Henry Cavill, of course, destroys the shit out of Metropolis by kicking Zod's ass. And then he kills Zod, who is basically another god and who had all this, you know, advanced and high-tech technology. So if you're a human like Batman and you see this person literally, I'm sure, because there was another like fake trailer where it had Batman standing in front of his bat computer in his bat cave, and he's looking at Zod's message. Now, of course, that was a fake trailer, basically, but it was interesting. If you think about it from that concept, he knows what Superman did to Zod. So, essentially, you have a man who's literally like a god, who kills another man who's literally like a god. And he killed him for humanity. But then you look at how badly he destroyed Metropolis. And I also was reading up on Batman. Batman actually owns Metropolis. So that's like his, you know, that's his money. So then you have someone come and destroy your fucking town, damn near, your city. where you've invested all your money as stock into. So Batman's like, Superman, you're fucking with my pocket. You know, I'm a billionaire, don't get me wrong, but the amount of money that I had to spend to rebuild Metropolis because you decided to just, I don't know, beat the shit out of another god's ass and then had no consideration towards the buildings or cars or anything. So Batman's like, I have to check this bitch out. I have to scope him. We have to figure out what is going on. What are his intentions? Are they good? Are they bad? And if you look at Superman throughout this entire trailer, he looks like he's really contemplating whether or not he wants to serve as humanity's savior, or if he just wants to, I don't know, maybe get the fuck out of Dodge, or if he wants to maybe, I don't know, punish his children for what they've done to him. We don't know. So, of course, he's staring at his batsuit. And what I was trying to say is that if Batman as a human saw Superman doing all this shit, would you really just jump into your batsuit like in 5 seconds and be like, I'm ready to go? No, you would really contemplate, you would really sit back and think, do I really want to go up against this guy who literally got punched through 5 buildings and got back up like it was nothing? Like, have you ever been punched just up against a brick wall? That shit hurts. So I can understand why he was standing there like really contemplating, should I really do this? And then you have Alfred in the back, man, who's talking about how it all starts with powerlessness that turns good men not necessarily evil, but cruel. And that kind of makes sense, because I'm kind of hoping that this Batman is not like Christian Bale's Batman, who really wanted to help Gotham and who was really just a crusader for Gotham that people just couldn't understand. I really kind of want this Batman to be like Arkham Origins Batman, in the sense of he's for protecting, maybe not Gotham in this, probably Metropolis, but he's for protecting people, but he's more inclined to use dirtier ways to do it. I kind of want this Batman to be dirty as shit, you know, really filthy. I don't want this Batman to try to beat, Superman at his own game. No. I want this Batman to use his Batmobile to shoot Superman's ass, even though they're going to bounce. They're going to reflect. But shoot bombs at him. I want, and it'd be nice if he could get kryptonite. That's probably asking for too much, but I can hope, goddammit. So then finally you have the showdown where Batman is in like this big ass Batman suit. I swear it looks like DC's answer to, a slimmer version of DC's response to the Hulkbuster. I mean, he's really, really decked out in armor in that goddamn suit. And if you think about it, Superman is, no, because you can kill Superman. You need kryptonite. You can't necessarily kill the Hulk. He'll just get angrier and then he'll just, for some weird reason, he'll heal. But anyway. And Superman, of course, is hovering above, and he's sort of looking down at Batman. And I like that sort of power dynamic between the two, because Batman, at the end of the day, is nothing but a human. I am a Batman fan, but I'm willing to admit it. He's nothing but a human with a shitload of money and a lot of fancy dancy gadgets, and nice cars, and nice hovercrafts. But Batman really possesses no superpower of his own, other than maybe like his will and his strong-ass resolve to just make sure that he protects Gotham, and he'll beat your ass, but he's not going to kill you. And then you have Superman, of course, who isn't a human. He's an alien from another planet, and he's hovering above Batman. And the only time he comes down to Batman's level is basically when Batman asks him a rather interesting question, which is, do you bleed?
Tell me, do you bleed? You will.
Now, the drop that Superman made from where he was at to where he hit the ground, if he was a human, don't ask me how he was able to hover in the air, but let's say he was a magician. If he fell that fucking far at that kind of velocity, he would have bled. So I found it funny that he's like, do you bleed? And Superman, of course, falls to the fucking ground with like all this force, and then he just kind of kneels and he's like, it's almost as if he was kind of looking at Batman like, do you see any blood? And that's why Batman had to come back with, you will. Because it's like, okay, you may not have bled there, but wait till I get my hands on you. So, overall, the trailer was amazing. I'm also really hoping that they take the whole Superman goes bad, because I like that. Because Superman's always been considered a Boy Scout. And as people have been saying, and especially with Zack Snyder, is that, you know, everybody seems to be going away from the comic books and sort of the concept of superheroes being really, really good and, you know, pure and righteous and all that. And they're trying to give superheroes more, trying to make them more realistic, in my opinion, because just as people have good qualities, we have bad qualities as well. And I always like the idea of Superman being evil, because that's just awesome to me. I never liked Superman because he's a goody two-shoes. And the fact that he's going to turn, I don't know, fucking evil and just decide to maybe take it out on people, I find that interesting. And then Batman's going to have to step in and be like, hey, no. You may be a god, but I will try my damnedest to kick your ass. Because that's Batman. He goes into situations balls deep, despite the fact that he is nothing but a mere human. So, the trailer looks awesome. I'm really looking forward to the movie now. I just wish that they really... I agree with Jeremy Jahns. When I heard Jesse Eisenberg's voice, I just kind of went, Jesus. It's not good. It's not good. It just sounds like Jesse Eisenberg 5.0. Like, it really does. It sounds like The Social Network all over again. So that's the only thing about this trailer that, in my opinion, I would say is disappointing. The CGI doesn't really bother me. I mean, come on. It's Zack Snyder. That's like going to Michael Bay film and not expecting racist undertones, rape jokes, blonde women with no titties, unless it's Scarlett Johansson. Thank you. A lot of fucking fight scenes and a lot of bullshit leading up to fight scenes that only end up in 30 minutes of the movie, and it's usually towards the end. So, you should welcome CGI if you're going to see a Zack Snyder film. Like, come on, that's part of his thing. That's the only complaint that I have is Jesse Eisenberg, and other than that, I'm good. I mean, I still have issues with Wonder Woman, but we didn't see her in the trailer, so that's great. So, that's pretty much my opinion on the Batman Superman trailer. I'm really looking forward to it, and I just hope that they release more trailers, because this wasn't enough. I want to see more Batman, because this had maybe the vast majority of Superman in the beginning. Alright, so thanks again. Like, subscribe. See you later.